What if the most powerful weapon in medieval Europe wasn't a sword or a trebuchet? Imagine a world of brutal conflict, of castles besieged, of kings and barons clashing. But behind the scenes, another force was at work. This force was quieter, more subtle. It didn't roar like a cannon or glint like polished steel. It was the silent power of words, written on humble parchment. Contracts, treaties, edicts, laws. These were the true weapons, capable of conquering lands and building vast empires. The Duchy of Burgundy understood this. They mastered this hidden art. This is the story of how Burgundy wielded ink and quill as instruments of immense power. Burgundy. The name itself sounds rich, powerful, ambitious. In the late Middle Ages it was a collection of territories ruled by shrewd, calculating dukes. Men like Philip the Bold, John the Fearless, Philip the Good, and the ill-fated Charles the Bold. These dukes were visionaries. They saw a path to greatness not just through marriage and war but through meticulous organization, through the power of the state. They aimed to build something lasting, a powerful entity that could rival the ancient kingdoms around them. Their ambition knew few bounds. Their lands flourished. Cities like Dijon, the ducal heart, became centers of art and administration. Bruges, a vibrant port, its canals bustling with trade, connecting Burgundy to the known world. Ghent, a powerhouse of industry, its looms weaving fine Flemish cloth. These cities were the engines of Burgundian wealth and influence. This prosperity was no accident. It was carefully cultivated, managed through endless paperwork. The dukes knew that control depended on information. So how did they do it? How did mere paper build such power? The Burgundian dukes were pioneers of bureaucracy. They created a sophisticated civil service filled with lawyers, clerks, and notaries. These were the architects of the state. Their tools were pen and parchment, their battlefield, the archive, their victories signed and sealed. Charters were granted to towns and to powerful nobles. These documents outlined rights and obligations, securing loyalty and ensuring a steady flow of taxes and resources into the ducal treasury. Marriage contracts were key. They were instruments of expansion, securing new territories, forging strategic alliances, often achieving what armies could not. The pen became a tool of relentless territorial growth. This reliance on written proof legitimized Burgundian authority. Their power was written in stone, or rather, on vellum. The year is 1435. Europe is a chessboard of conflict. The 100 Years' War between England and France drags on, bloody and brutal. Duke Philip the Good of Burgundy stands at a pivotal moment. He holds the balance of power, and he knows it. He prepares to make his move. This move was not on a battlefield, it was at a negotiating table. The result was the Treaty of Arras, a diplomatic masterpiece, a turning point in the long war. Philip had been allied with England, but now he saw a greater prize. He agreed to recognize Charles VII as the rightful king of France. But his recognition came at a steep price. France, desperate for peace and for Burgundian support, ceded vast territories to Philip. The map of Western Europe had been redrawn, not by the sword but by the pen. Power needs more than just land, it needs loyalty, it needs prestige. Duke Philip the Good knew this. In 1430, to celebrate his marriage, he founded an order of chivalry. But this was no ordinary order. It was the Order of the Golden Fleece, destined to become the most prestigious and exclusive in all of Christendom, a masterstroke of political theater. Its motto was potent, ante ferit quam flamma misset. It strikes before the flame flickers. Membership was strictly limited to a small circle of elite nobles from across Europe. To be a Knight of the Golden Fleece was the ultimate mark of distinction. The order had detailed statutes, written rules that bound its members. Knights swore personal allegiance to the Duke of Burgundy, its Grand Master. The Order of the Golden Fleece was a brilliant tool of soft power. It created a network of loyal allies tied directly to the Burgundian Duke. The Duchy of Burgundy was ambitious. It was audacious. It dared to challenge the established giants of medieval Europe, France, its historic overlord, and the Holy Roman Empire, its vast neighbor. The Burgundian dukes saw themselves as equals, perhaps even destined for more. Their documents boldly proclaimed this. Against France they waged a war not just of armies but of lawyers. They used ancient charters and newly signed treaties like the Treaty of Arras to assert their autonomy, to chip away at French royal power. Towards the Holy Roman Empire, they pursued a strategy of expansion through shrewd marriages, through outright purchases, through complex inheritance claims, all meticulously documented, all legally justified. Burgundy grew into a formidable state, a cultural and economic powerhouse, all built upon a foundation of carefully managed written authority. Yet all great powers face their limits. The Burgundian dream was no exception. Charles the Bold, the last of the great dukes, was driven by a burning ambition, perhaps too burning, too reckless. He craved a royal crown, he pushed his state too far, too fast. His ambitions shattered on the frozen fields near Nancy in 1477, where he met his death in battle. With Charles's death, the great duchy fractured. King Louis XI of France, the universal spider, swiftly seized the French-speaking heartlands. The remaining Burgundian territories, including the wealthy Low Countries, passed to Charles's daughter Mary, and through her marriage, to the Habsburgs. The physical empire of Burgundy was gone, torn apart by its powerful neighbors. But its true legacy endured. It was in the systems they created. The Burgundian model of administration, their sophisticated chanceries, their meticulous record-keeping, their emphasis on legal documentation. This profoundly influenced European governance for centuries to come. The Dukes of Burgundy showed Europe a new way to build and maintain power.